Okay, so I will talk about the weird production caused by incorrect installation of smart meters. And first, you check firmware. If it's too old, please update. Define meter usage situation. So first, if you only have one smart meter, so basically if you have an internal meter, it's very important that for the meter, its underside of the grid goes to it, and then the other side goes to above. If you connect it to wrong, then the value will be wrong. So basically here, if you have two smart meters, one is PV meter and one is grid meter here, PV meter here, and yes, so they have to, the wires have to go under. Here are some situations for AC coupling. You have 2 meters because you have an existing on-grid inverter. First, 2 internals, you connect this way, and 2 externals, and 1 internal and 1 external, same here. So basically it's because you can use the internal CT and external CT, so it doesn't matter which one you use. But I recommend you use the internal CT for grid meter and external CT for PV meter because it's easier to do. And CT directions. So first, the PV meter CT arrow needs to point away from the on-grid inverter. Grid meter CT arrow needs to point towards the load. And so basically, you just remember the current flow along the CT like arrows. So for example, here for the grid meter, the current and power is flowing from the grid to the load, so it goes to that side. Therefore, the arrow pointing towards to the load. And you also need to remember when connecting the CT, the pin has to be white, blue, white, blue, white, blue. Otherwise, if you connect backwards, then the CT direction is reversed. And if you have like wrong, like here it shows if you have the wrong phase, then you will have power factor near 0.5. And if you have the wrong CT direction, then the plus and minus value will be like wrong. So in this case, CT for phase 1 and phase 3, the arrow pointing is wrong. And for this one, you can see the phase for phase number 2 and phase number 3 is wrong. So you first switch between those two, the CT of phase 1 and phase 3. Oh, sorry, phase 2 and phase 3. And after you switch, you get here. Here you can see for phase 1 and phase 3 it's minus. And since we are using the backup mode which charging battery, we're buying the power from the grid, so the power of smart meter can only be positive. So it means we have the wrong like arrow direction of the CT, and then you change the direction of the CT clamps for phase 1 and phase 3. Now everything's positive, and because we're charging, so it's correct. So basically, to sum up, in the beginning, we see the power factor is too small, 0.5, 0.4, and we have to change them, change phases between phase 2 and phase 3 so that they are near 1. And after we change, because it's charging minus is wrong, we should change the CT direction. Now it's all good. troubleshoot PV meter. So PV meter power factor needs to be near 1 and or positive, because you always give power from solar inverter, you never send any power to them. So the power factor needs to be 1. So for grid meter troubleshoot, you go to the working modes, set to backup mode, 90% and very high charging power. And for when you troubleshoot, I suggest you to turn off PV's production. If you connect PV panels directly, you turn off the DC switch. If you connect to AC coupling, then you turn off the other old on-grid inverter. It's because if you turn off, then all the powers we import are from the grid, so that the grid meter can show. If you don't, then it's very hard to see if the solar panel is producing lots of energy. So you set to backup mode, and then as we charge the battery, the power should always be positive. If it's negative, then it means you have the wrong city direction, because we are importing. And you can also test by discharge battery, so set to time of use mode, discharge this time, and also 6,000 watt every day. And when export, you should be like minus, but also depends if you have very high load, then it's hard to see. But if you have high load when import, it's all positive. So here is the troubleshooting SOP. So first check PV meter if good, like everything is positive. When sunny, turn off PV production, check grid meter. And then if load follows PV production, because sometimes if you have the wrong phase or the wrong place of smart meter installation place, then it's wrong production. And then you check PV meter power factor, power plus minus, turn off PV productions, force charge battery by using backup mode, and check the positive or minus. And then if you still have problem, then let the electrician draw the connection diagram, like where do they connect. And then you check if meter data align with measurement of clamp meter. If not, then it means something you connect wrong to the smart meter. Check settings in the app, check city wiring and direction. So if load is same when charging discharging, then likely the meter installation correct. If load is not the same, then likely you have installed something wrong, or the city is wrong. So if like in winter the PV is weak, you can look at the historical data, like the PV meter curve analysis, click on power factor, and then come up. So you can see the historical data. And some customer got heat pump and they have very irregular like loads. Thank you.